Got you, Coach.
Well,
We'll open it up to questions, and if you're ready, we'll start with Jerry Thompson from Ducks Illustrated. You there, Jerry?
You unmute. Okay. Okay, Coach, congratulations on the victory. Question again about, I'm just wondering, against Cal, last play of the game, you're in the end zone, needing a good snap, and then against Washington, you're at the 1 yard line, you get a safety. How about the quarterback under center, 230-pound quarterback? Any thoughts on that?
yeah, it's just not something that we do on a regular basis, and not something that's part of the offense. Certainly, there are people who believe in that and utilize that play. But we like to play the percentages that I think we only had, one negative yardage play, rush play in that entire game and 56 snaps. And, and we just don't want to force yourself to play left-handed to go under center. And, that's just our philosophy. And I know a lot of people believe in the sneak, but that's just not something that we do schematically.
James Crapia, the Oregonian.
Joe, the first play of the fourth quarter, just upon review of not just Travis's score or AB running past him, but the collective effort of everyone there. I mean, the right side of the line, Jalen Red blocking. How do you evaluate that play and execution across the board, and just how pivotal it was, obviously, to the game itself?
Yeah, generally speaking, that kind of power sucker crack play that we run, we usually run that thing to the boundary, and just switch it up to run it to the field. But a huge play in the game and momentum swing to get ahead by a score by 8 points there. So certainly from a important standpoint, it was a big score in the game. But it's you gain a certain amount of satisfaction when there's a play that you have drawn up and all 11 people are executing and orchestrating. Just how it's designed. You said Jay Red with the crack block on the Mike linebacker there, who probably outweighed him by 40, 50 pounds. AB made the absolute correct read on the defensive end. George got around the horn, kicked out the Sam, and everyone else did their job. And then AB, after handing the ball off, with a great hustle play to get ahead. And obviously, Travis, doing what Travis does. So it was a huge play both in the game and for us from an execution standpoint.
Zach Neal, Ducks Wire.
Coach, as an offensive coach, obviously one of your biggest goals is to put as many points on the board as possible. So 10 seconds left, ball on the 1 yard line. The decision comes to run the clock out. Wondering whose call that was and if it was a tough one to swallow at all.
No, we weren't trying to run the clock out at all. We were trying to punch the ball in, and AB was waiting for Alex Forsythe to make his line calls there for the blocks to be made. And unfortunately, we didn't have an opportunity to snap it. So that was absolutely not a situation we were trying to not snap the like a quadruple negative there. We were attempting to snap the ball and score, but the clock ran out before we could get it snapped.
Luciano Chatelain, end zoners.
Hey, Coach, what stands out the most to you about Washington State's defense, and particularly about Ron Stone Jr.? He's having quite a great season. What are your thoughts on him, and what makes him such a good player?
I think the thing that sticks out the most about Washington State's defense is they play with tremendous passion. They swarm to the football. Those guys play with a very, very, very high motor. And I think of the 11 players, 8 are either graduate players or seniors, so that they're very, very experienced. But Coach Dicker does an excellent job with, disguising. They give you multiple looks, on first and second down, and really have an extensive blitz package on third down. So they play hard. They're very well coached. They have an excellent scheme. They disguise well. And I believe they're 5th in the country in takeaways. So they make a very pointed, effort to either strip the ball or create turnovers. So those are things that stick out about the defense. They're very impressive.
Matt Preem, 247 Sports.
Yeah, Joe, I think on Travis's touchdown run, AB made the block at the very end to allow him to score. Maybe he got in, maybe because of momentum or whatnot. But you don't see that very often, where the quarterback is racing down the field to deliver blocks. It's not the first time that he's done this season. Do you like that? And I guess what does that say about him and just his willingness, I guess, literally to do anything it takes, because typically the quarterback tosses it and falls away from the play.
Yeah, not only is that encouraged from the position, it's expected. And we have a rule anytime the ball is handed off and we're not reading a second or third level defender, that we are sprinting 5 yards past the line of scrimmage full speed, either to pull people away from the play or to get out in front. And I tell the quarterbacks the same thing we tell the receivers, that, our job is to turn short runs into long runs and long runs into touchdowns. So, we're no different than the other 10 people on the field. And obviously we got to be smart with what we do in terms of blocking people and how we're doing it. But, we need to be hustling the ball just like anyone else. And, I think that's another thing, outside of the, passing game for the quarterback, which warrants and garners a lot of deserved attention, that we ask our quarterback to make a decision on almost every, run play, whether it's second or third level RPOs, whether they hand it off or throw it, or, essentially a lot of things that we do that we saw on Saturday are really triple options. So whether they hand it off or pull it, and then when you get on the edge, throw it or run it. So although AB stats didn't show up huge in the pass game because it was freezing and raining sideways, he made a lot of excellent decisions in the run game that allowed us to hand it off against advantageous numbers or get the thing thrown on the perimeter. So along with the hustle, I was excited about, the decisions he made on those 56 runs.
Gabriel Marvin, Daily Emerald.
Hey, Coach. So as Washington State comes off a bye week, how do you want to utilize your talented speedsters on the outside like Micah Pittman and Troy Franklin against the defense that most recently created 5 turnovers against their last game against Arizona State?
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was their first 3 possessions they got turnovers against Arizona State. But they're very tall and long at corner. I think those guys are both 6'2" plus, and they're not afraid to play press coverage. They're going to do everything they can to disrupt routes. The safeties, they play well in man coverage too. And a lot of it goes back to the original question about Rob Stone, that they have a very active defensive front, particularly the defensive ends that pressure the passer. So we got to do a great job when it's man-to-man in separating and getting open. And then when it's zone, making sure our spacing is correct, whether it's, horizontally or vertically, and protecting and getting the ball down the field. But it'll be a huge challenge because 1, they rush the passer well, and 2, they cover well on the back end.
James.
Joe, 2 things on officiating, and not specific calls because I don't want to get you in trouble there, but just on how it impacted the offense. What did the review of a non-reviewable play after you ran a subsequent play, how did that impact the momentum of that drive, which I think ended in the interception, if I'm not mistaken? 1, and 2, after Micah's face mask, they incorrectly stated it was still first down. The sticks said first down. It changed to second just before the play, which was correct. But did you believe in calling that pass play that you had a first down still to work with because it was announced as such, which then prompted the timeout before 3rd and 33, which you may have thought was 2nd and 33?
Yeah, well, the first one, I guess is year 24. I've never seen that happen before in the review play age, I guess, as it were. Really didn't particularly impact anything aside from momentum. That you had the first down, and then the next play was ran, and then you go back to review 2 plays prior. I mean, I had never seen it, but we kind of recollected, found out what down it was, and then moved on. And certainly those 2 penalties on the drive that you're speaking of, the second one, I think it was a 9-minute drive, and we were first and goal at the 1 or the half-yard line, and then to be knocked back, and then to be knocked back again. And I was trying to get just a naked pass play called where we could get something quick to the flat or the quarterback can run it. Not a ton of great plays on the call sheet for 2nd and 20 or 3rd and whatever the hell, 32, 20, whatever it was. But yeah, we just needed to maintain our poise there when we have it at the 1 and we punch it in, and it's up to over 30. But yeah, certainly those 2 things that knocked us back. And I guess there was a lot of discussion up top as we're trying to call the plays. Does anyone know what the hell down it is right now? You know what I mean? So that's why, like, a naked pass right there is something where there's a general thought process. 2nd and long, get half of it back. So when we were there, trying to either get ourselves into field goal range or get a quick catch and run where we can, get up the field. But yeah, one, we were trying to figure out what down it was, and then two, on that second and long, we're just trying to get half of the yardage back.
Eric Scopel, 247 Sports.
Coach, just your impressions of Alex and Forsyth and his return and how important and valuable, obviously, he's going to be whenever he's on the field, but especially when Ryan goes down. And it sounds like he's not out for the year, but just seems like Alex's timing in the return is pretty significant.
Yeah, to have him available. I mean, he's, the eyes, the ears, the brains, the heart and soul of our offensive line from that center position. Incredible leader, great competitor, awesome teammate. Had been playing well the entire year up until the injury. And, for him to be able to go in back to his natural position when Ryan gets hurt. And, anytime you rush the ball 56 times for close to 350 yards, those big guys up front are doing their job. But Alex Forsyth is an invaluable piece of the offensive line, this offense, and really the team as a whole.
Time for two more, James.
Joe, DJ Johnson provides a ton as terms of setting the edge for you guys in the run game at that position. Just to speak to just what he does uniquely compared to some of the younger tight ends. Learning the blocking roles and responsibilities is always a bit of a challenge at tight end, but he clearly provides for you a lot there. Can you speak to just how well he's been doing in that capacity?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about an unselfish guy who comes in. If I recall correctly, I wasn't here, but came in as a defensive end, right, and then moved to tight end by necessity, and it really fits his skill set. And then this year, because of injury, is asked to play both, which he's done very well. But DJ is when you talk about the tight end world, he's a traditional Y. A guy that could get on the line of scrimmage and be singled up against a 7 technique or a 9 technique and get movement at the point of attack. He's great on combinations, great on down blocks, carries a lot of experience and maturity. And we're able to get him the ball every once in a while out on the flat and some of them shorter routes. But a lot like Alex, consummate team player, doesn't worry about the number of plays he's playing, but how well he's doing with those opportunities. And he's certainly a force to be reckoned with in the run game.
Matt, last question.
Yeah, could you mention just the impact of Ryan Walk and that's going to have? Mario Cristobal said after the game was over, he's the heart and soul of this team, and just, I guess, how, for lack of a better word, good timing Jackson Powers Johnson is coming back from injury for you guys along the offensive line. Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of a recurring theme with the young men on this roster. We have a bunch of great kids, and for a kid from Sheldon, right, down the street to come to play the Oregon and then kind of get the opportunity to not just play, but play a significant role as a starter on a team that's won championships and has the opportunity to get a go 1-0 hopefully again this week. But yeah, he's a lot like Alex in the sense that the guys all look to him. He such a great example on and off the field, and I've said it before, I sound cliche, but I mean he's a consummate student athlete. Like you look it up in the NCAA manual, it's probably on page 1752, but there should be a picture of Ryan Walk in there because he's what it stands, he's what it should stand for which it should stand.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate your guys' time. Everyone have a great day.